Have you ever noticed how easy it is to make assumptions based on your own experiences? Maybe you worked in a bad job and now you assume that all workplaces are toxic. Or you met one bad business partner and think you can't trust anyone ever again. Perhaps you failed a subject in high school or university and decided that you weren't that smart. These assumptions come from experience, but they're dangerous because they trick you into thinking that just because something happened in the past means it must happen again in the future. The truth is, times change, the world changes, everything and everyone evolves. If you don't evolve with it, you get stuck and you stop growing. That's called ignorance, and it's the hidden enemy of people everywhere. My name is Oscar Katina, and I'm a 20-year-old entrepreneur from Australia. By definition, ignorance is simply a lack of information or a lack of knowledge. But here's the trap. When you stop learning, you don't just stop gaining knowledge, you actually begin to lose it. It fades, and you cut yourself off from opportunities that only learning can provide. Now, if you're in business or a young person trying to get ahead in the world, or both, how do you plan to succeed without continuing to sharpen your blade? You might be able to tread water for a time, but you'll never feel like you're getting ahead. If you're treading water, congratulations, you're surviving, but I doubt you're thriving. A commitment to learning and a vendetta against ignorance won't have you treading water. It'll have you on a boat gracefully cutting through the waves. A lot of people think that the learning process for them ends when they leave high school or university. That could not be further from the truth. Whether you like it or not, you're always learning, whether that's through your job, through your family and friends, or through everyday challenges that might arise. The question is, are you learning intentionally or are you just leaving it up to chance? When you pursue learning actively, the payoff is massive. Maybe that looks like taking on further study, developing a reading habit, or maybe it's even just keeping that little bit of curiosity inside you alive. Whichever way you spin it, if it's contributing to the person that you want to be, the feeling is euphoric. Don't just take my word for it though. Some of history's greatest minds have known this truth as well. Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon that people like you and me can use to change the world. Benjamin Franklin said that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Think about it. Knowledge does pay compound interest. Just like if you put $100 into the stock market and it grew by 10% every year, investing $100 into a book or a course or some coaching might provide you with the opportunity that makes you thousands. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us the function of education is to teach people to think intensively and critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. And Abraham Lincoln even went as far as saying, it's the most important subject that we as people may be engaged in. I can keep going, but we'd be here all day. These aren't just nice quotes, they're a reminder that learning is not optional, it's essential. And they weren't said by a 20-year-old behind a camera either. Mandela was an activist and a politician. Benjamin Franklin was one of the founding fathers of the United States. Lincoln was a president, and MLK was also an activist and a minister. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to support the channel. Now let's talk practical. In my opinion, the best way to learn is through experience. Reading a book about business is one thing. Actually running a business will teach you more in a month than a book will in a year. I know this because I've literally lived it. I studied business in high school, I'm still studying it at university, and combined I've spent over 4 years studying the subject. I've run my business for a little over a year, and I can definitely say that in the last 6 months, I've learned more than what I did across those 4 years studying business. Now, I'm not trying to start a crusade against universities or high schools. Actually, I'm trying to do quite the opposite to that. But the key here is the relationship between the two. Lived experiences embed the lessons that you learn in these educational institutions. I remember in one of my marketing classes, we talked about market segmentation. It sounded nice in theory, but it wasn't until I actually started posting content for myself and my clients that I realized I needed to target certain segments of the market to achieve the best results. Experience isn't the only way though. People are one of the greatest mechanisms for learning. Mentors especially can give you shortcuts through their lived experiences. In my most recent video about passion and enthusiasm, I mentioned how a coffee catch up with one of my mentors allowed me to take 2 pages worth of notes that transformed my business in the space of weeks. And a lot of these notes came from his lived experiences. If you can't talk to someone directly though, there are plenty of fantastic role models out there that you can study through books, interviews, and podcasts. Some of the best minds in the world today are actively on social media, sharing their lessons for people like you and me to look at. Now, you don't have to treat their word as gospel, but it is important to take the little golden nuggets of information that you think can help you and implement it on your journey. And here's another key. You don't just learn from mentors either. Random people you meet can drop golden nuggets of wisdom too. That's why networking is so powerful. Not only do you meet potential mentors, but you expose yourself to perspectives from people from all walks of life. And that's often where the breakthroughs come from, because education shifts perspectives. I've had late night and early morning conversations with business business owners from all walks of life as well that have led to friendships being formed, clients being gained, and mentors being found. And of course, knowledge gathered. So here are 3 actionable steps that you can take in this video. Challenge your assumptions. Ask yourself, am I holding on to outdated beliefs due to old experiences? For example, I used to assume that because I was 19 years old at the time, no one in business would take me seriously. That assumption would have crippled me if I let it stick, because I wouldn't have had the courage to put myself out there and go and talk to these older people, and therefore never learn from them / gain clients / gather knowledge. Next, commit to intentional learning, whether it's through books, courses, or even a podcast every week. Make learning part of your daily or weekly routine and condition yourself into a learner's mindset. For me, it's at least 30 minutes of reading before I go to bed at night. It helps me switch off and it gets my eyes away from a screen. And finally, learn from people. Go out and network, not just to get ahead, but to collect valuable perspectives and knowledge that you'd never find on your own. Like I said in my last video, high school and university events, LinkedIn, and business networking are great places to start. The most important part of this video though is that all of that knowledge is useless if you don't start to implement it and put it into action. So when you learn something, try it. The truth is, lifelong learning isn't just about education. It's about staying relevant, adaptable, and curious. Ignorance is the enemy, but knowledge, that is your competitive edge. The moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. Keep feeding your curiosity, you stay sharp, fresh, and ready for opportunities that others don't even see. If this resonated with you, drop a comment and let me know one lesson you've learned that has changed your perspective. I'd love to hear it, because I'm always open to learning new things, and there's a good chance that someone else will see it and take a little bit of inspiration from it too. Remember, education does not stop at the classroom door. Every conversation, every challenge, every podcast or book is shaping the person that you're going to become in 5 to 10 years. So make the decision to be intentional about it and don't leave it up to chance. If you missed my last video on passion and enthusiasm, you can check it out somewhere here, because passion is the fuel that makes this whole process sustainable. In my next video, I'll be diving into the cost of everything. I'm not just talking about money. So subscribe with notifications on if you don't want to miss it.